Hello people, you're welcome to another interesting edition of Unscripted with TiwaSays. And you know how we do it. It's unscripted, we write nothing down, we just say it as it comes. And of course, I always bring you interesting people, people that say it as it is. And today I have another person in the studio. I'm going to allow him to, do the honors and tell us all about himself, but I'm just going to give you his name. His name is Charles
Ahename.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
That's fine.
Ahename.
Yes.
Okay, now that the name has been said, you're welcome to the studio. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Okay, so now let's just get into it. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Okay, great. Thank you for having me here once more. My name is Charles Ahename. Okay, Dr. Charles Ahename. I actually do have a doctorate from Lagos State University.
Wow, that's nice.
I've been in the lottery industry or iGaming industry for the last 17 years.
Wow.
And currently I work for one of the newer firms as general manager operations for them. So that's the little you need to know about me for now.
For now?
For now, yes.
No, I don't think so. We want to know more. So what company is that? Or what firm is that?
Okay, it's called Big Shot Lottery.
Big Shot Lottery.
Yes.
Okay, so I know that some people, especially people like me, are a bit skeptical about the lottery business. So is this something you want to shed more light on, especially for people like me? Okay.
The lottery business in Nigeria is growing. It's part of what is called the iGaming industry, which comprises lottery, sports betting, which I'm sure you're conversant with, and the casino industry. Okay. So lottery basically is a game of numbers. It's I'm sure you've heard about popular ones like Baba Ijebu, like Green Lotto, like Golden Chance. So yeah, Big Shot Lottery is just one of those other kind of companies bringing some new innovations into the lottery industry.
Well, we know about all those Baba Ijebu and all those that people never win.
That's not true.
Yes.
No, that's
they just keep chopping and chopping and chopping.
That's not true. That's not true. People actually win. That's why you see in every street corner in Lagos, you see lots of shops, people staking on games, winning and cashing out. Yes, people do win. I've been in this industry for 16, 17 years. And yes, I've seen people win hundreds of millions, tens of millions.
Hundreds of millions in this Nigeria, or you are talking of the abroad?
Here. In fact, my 4-year stint with a firm called Green Lotto, where I was the general manager of operations and sales, a customer did win 55.8 million. One person, just one person.
55.8?
Yes.
And is this person still alive? Was he giving?
Of course, he got his money. Yeah, sure, he was paid. Yeah.
Was it the first time, second time, or maybe it's all the money that he had staked that he was getting back?
No, of course not. He played with something very meager, And there are lots of people that win, $1 million, $2 million, $5 million that no one talks about. There are lots of them.
Well, how come we never hear of those? I've never heard of that. I've heard, a couple of people saying, okay, I won 20,000. I won 30,000. I won this. Although they usually lose more than they win, but you say I won 50,000 before, so they keep going. But I've never heard anyone winning the big numbers.
They actually do win. One thing you have here in this country is that most people don't talk about their wins, and lottery companies don't go out of their ways to publicize those wins. For example, if you win 50 million now, right? You may not want your neighbors to know that you have won any money.
True,
so you don't want to give out any press and info to that effect. You just make sure that you take your ticket out there and you're paid. So that's what happens on the ground. But yes, there are lots of winners. And if there are no winners, the industry will not survive for the last 20 years. So there are lots of winners. Lots and lots of winners. As at the last time I checked, there were about over 50 registered licensed operators in Nigeria.
Wow.
Yes.
It's big business.
It is big business.
I know about sports betting because, that is, in my opinion, a bit predictable because you know that, okay, you are betting on particular game, on sports, that, okay, so if it's either this, this part wins or this part doesn't win. So that is kind of clear But the one where you have to do numbers, and some people say, it's just one number. That's one number that spoiled the game for me, that kind of thing. So is there like a roadmap? Is there a way that you can tell us here that someone can win the big numbers?
Well,
or is it just luck?
The only way to win the lottery is to play the lottery. That's the only way to win the lottery. And the fact that the draws are random means that anybody can win. There's no hanky-panky, there are no tricks anywhere. It's a pure random process. So you're lucky if you get to win. Just the same way you can't predict that Man U will defeat Arsenal in the match that happens tonight or something. The same way you can't predict if the number one would be part of the numbers that draw in winning game for tonight. But if it does draw and you're lucky enough to stake on it, then you're a winner.
So you are telling me now that this lottery business is not some kind of shady business or like Ponzi scheme that is all out to just collect people's money and give nothing back in return.
I'm telling Nigerians, and you most especially, that lottery business is legit. And go out there, make your stakes, and you might just be that next tens of million naira winner.
That'd be nice. I'll come back here to testify.
No wahala. That was
so is it? I also know that some people think that lottery is a sin.
Ooh, yeah. In this climb, right? I would say in this climb, because it's not the same thing when you go to the overseas out there.
Yes.
I would say that's because of our culture. There is a difference between gaming and gambling, right? Gambling is illegal. It's like you and your friends, you see people by the street corner playing tete like they do in Lagos, those area boys playing tete amongst themselves. There is no guarantee that if Jamu wins that tete, he gets paid by whoever it is that's organizing that tete. There could be underground dealings that nobody knows about, right? There are no taxes paid within that whole ecosystem.
Okay.
That's illegal.
That's gambling.
Gambling, yeah.
Oh, really?
But gaming here is regulated. The government knows about this business we're doing. There are rules and regulations that we have to obey when we run this business. So, what's the question again? Sorry.
I said that people believe that it's a sin.
It's a sin, yes. It's because of the cultural nuances around us here. They believe that when you gamble, as they say, nobody wins. At the end of the day, you could be a liability to your family.
Yes, because people get addicted and they keep, that's another part, because there are some people who keep doing it. They keep doing it and they don't win. Or maybe, they just win a little sum today, maybe win 120,000 or something, and then they now decide, I keep winning, I've heard of people who have put their school fees, house rent, hospital, like unimaginable things like that. Okay, let me quickly, and then it usually does not enter, as they say.
Well, yes, some of all those things are true. That's why, as I did mention, for gaming, it is regulated by the government, and there are measures put in place to check underage gambling, to check gambling addiction also.
Gambling addiction?
Yes, there are things put in place to check gambling addiction. For example, on some firm's website, right, there is a maximum spend you can do per day. When they find out that, okay, you're going overboard that amount of spend, they stop you from spending for that particular day.
Okay.
So there are all sorts of things that happen. There are algorithms that check out these things real time. Check out your account, check out how you're playing, and then they limit what you can do. Basically.
How do you do the underage?
For example, before you register on our own website or any other company's website in Nigeria, you will collect the date of birth of that person, right? If it is calculated to be below 18 years, that registration will not sail through or complete.
So if somebody brings a fake ID, how do you know?
If a fake ID comes through and we don't find out, at the point of this person cashing out, we could find out and get it and then stop that transaction. Yes, it is possible. Some people may put in fake ID to register the account, but at the point in time, you might want to cash out, and we say, okay, good, provide your government ID for us to back that this account is yours for the first time you want to cash out. Then we could find out that whole thing. And then there are measures in place to check that that account will be blocked. if it's found that you're underage. So there are things put in place. But these things, of course, you never find them when there's illegal gambling happening around. So government checks all those kind of things for operators that are registered. Yes.
So how do you also check? Because I've also heard of cases where people's accounts are hacked on those betting sites, that their accounts are hacked and then their money is taken. I know someone a few years ago who had that kind of episode, and because you link your card to the site.
You don't link
because
you don't link your card. You link your bank account.
Is it bank account or card? Because this person now started receiving debit alerts, and then it was found out that it was from the gaming site, and they had to block it and all that.
No, I think that there's only one way where this could be. For example, you're a player on the site. You've won 100,000 naira, right? As at this time, for most gaming sites in Nigeria that I know currently, you cannot transfer those funds to a different person's bank account. What happens these days is that your account opening information is linked to the bank account you provided to transfer those funds into. So if somebody breaks into your betting account now, they won't be able to transfer whatever winning funds that's in there to their own account, because it will not match with your own account opening information that you provided when you opened the account. Let's say example, my name is Charles Ahename. I opened a Big Shot Lottery account. I have won 100,000 Big Shot Lottery today. Tiwa gets access to my account. Probably I logged into that account from a public system that she had access to, and she saw that, oh, there's 100,000 here. Let me try and move it to your own account. So you provided your Tiwa account name and everything else. There are algorithms to check that the account number you want to transfer those funds into, does it match the account that was used in opening the account, which was Charles Ahename, not matching Tiwa in your surname. So those funds will not authorize and will not go through. So that security is now in place. What you mentioned was probably something that happened in the past when those measures were not put in place.
Okay, because I know that it did happen to this person, and it was receiving debit alerts. Okay.
Yes, those things are now put in place.
Okay.
So you can.
It's looking better.
The industry is growing every day. So new innovations and technology, we take advantage of those things. So you see a future for the gaming business? It is growing. The gaming business is growing. In fact, multinational firms, gaming companies that are big abroad are coming in here to set up shops to run businesses. Yes, they are. It's growing in leaps and bounds. Would you say that's because Nigerians like quick cash? Gaming is entertainment. The same way you lose money, entertainment. The same way the film industry is growing, music is growing, our love for sports activities and all those kind of activities are growing. Same way the gaming industry is growing. You can't take Nigerians' love for football out of the equation, right? Yeah. Yes, they love football. So people say you put your money where your mouth is, right? You put your mouth where your money is, that kind of thing. So it's entertainment for you. You put in 10,000 on this activity, these numbers, and you end up winning $1 million for that particular day. Good, right? Everyone's happy. Everyone's happy. And then there are good causes that gaming funds take care of. Every gaming company contributes to a good causes fund. Really? Yes, that's used to fund education, schools, and all sorts of things. I've not heard of that. Oh, you haven't? To get a lottery license in Lagos alone will set you back 200 million. That goes to the government's purse. 200 million? Yes. You see now, that's why people will play game and we don't win. Because you have to recoup back that 200 million. You don't recoup that in 1 year, right? It's a 5-year thing. It's a 5-year license. For Lagos, for example, it's a 5-year license. It's 5 years, 200 million for 5 years. It's not even one-off. No, it's not one-off. It's not one-off. And then there are taxes you've got to pay, every month. There's pay for your staff. There's all sorts of things. So it's a business in every sense of the word. It is. Wow. Yes, and it's enriching Nigerians in lips. Yes. Okay, I'm glad I'm getting more information on this. Okay, so tell us, how do you unwind? Oh, that one. I would say twice a week, thereabout. I hang out with friends, have a drink, discuss politics. We discuss business ideas.
Sports.
Sometimes, but I'm not really a football person. So.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How?
I like combat sports. Boxing. I like to watch the UFC, mixed martial arts. But I could manage.
WWE.
No, that's for kids.
That's entertainment.
That's for kids. Yes, that's entertainment. That's not real combat.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like mixed martial arts, MMAs. I like boxing. Yeah.
You don't like football. It's always weird when a man tells me he doesn't like football.
I'm not saying I don't like football. I'm just saying I won't go out of my way to just because I want to watch a match. If I'm sitting in the bar someday and the match is playing out there, yeah, I'd see it.
So you're not one of those that will be rushing home or rushing somewhere that, there's a match tonight,
Hell no.
And then if you lose, your mood is off for the night.
No. I got loads of friends like that, but no, not me.
Wow.
Not me.
That's good to know. Okay, so you say you hang out with friends just twice weekly. Is that on the weekends?
Weekends, I do Sundays. During the week, one other day.
That's also how you distress? Or how do you distress?
Yeah, basically, yeah. That.
Interesting.
I'm kind of like a boring person sometimes.
Oh, really? You think?
Oh, yeah. I think I know so.
You know so? Or you think so? Okay,
I think I know so.
They say that if you know your problem, then it is how solved. So if you think you're a boring person, what are you doing about that?
What am I doing about that? Basically nothing.
Nothing. You like to live a boring life.
Sometimes
in Lagos.
Sometimes I got a couple of friends that are crazy that go out of their ways to drag me out.
Okay.
Once in a while I try. If I don't get enough excuses for that particular time not to go. Yeah, I find my way around them and then they show me around. Apart from that, I'm just comfortable from work, go home, do one or two things, hang out online, do a couple of work, get ideas about things I'm working on, basically, and then if possible have a drink with a few friends around, or alone. That's
not fun. Why would you be drinking alone?
Well, sometimes it's great for me because it helps me to think about these activities, think about new ideas I wouldn't have noticed, and run some things by myself. Yeah, sometimes I do that. I think I like it. When you can beat yourself up, you can give yourself some kudos, you can tell yourself the hard truths of what you're supposed to have done or not done. Just assess yourself and try and make some new changes going further.
Okay, interesting. So you're not one of those who distresses with other people or use other or use other people's distress, because it's been said that in Lagos especially, well, let me not say as well, but in Lagos especially, because there's a lot of stress for married men, that there's a lot of stress from work, from the house and whatever, and then you just after work you just go and distress somewhere before going to the house.
No.
You don't do that.
I don't do that. I don't do that.
Yeah, but do you think what's your take on that?
Well, I don't judge. I won't judge anyone. So if everyone finds that method of distressing healthy and for them and good for them, then why not? Why not?
Because, well, I don't judge as well, but then sometimes I see some sense in some of the arguments, that I've gotten, because
For, against?
For.
Okay.
Because, we know that Lagos is exceptionally stressful.
True.
And then you have to go to work and all that, and then you are stressed up, and there's still the responsibility at home and all. So some men say that, they would rather go somewhere, where they can relax, distress from the day, and then just gather themselves together before getting to the house, so that when you get to the house, you are not cranky. You are not bringing your work and all the stress of the work into the house. You are a relaxed person. As against if you're coming straight from work with you probably had issues with your staff or boss, or there's this, what's it called? what do they call? I'm sorry, these are
Your bosses or
no,
somebody.
no. This what's this thing that people get? This wow. Maybe I'll remember, Sha. But there's something you are pursuing, and then maybe it didn't go well. You didn't
contracts, right?
You know, maybe you didn't get the contract. You were expecting a contract, you didn't get the contract, or you have a deadline and it's not working, or something is slowing you down, someone is slowing you down, then you are so stressed, and then you go from there straight to the house. You know, when you get to the house, even if somebody is doing the right things, because you are cranky, you know, or something that you not ordinarily respond somehow to, but because you're already cranky, you are, you know, it's secondary venting. You are just pouring your frustration on the person and like blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, that is not the person that is causing your frustration. But the argument is that, but when you go somewhere, and then the somewhere that you go, where
is that somewhere?
Okay.
you could go to a massage parlor. You could go distress there, right? Get a good massage, you know,
every day.
Deep tissue massage. If you can afford it every day, why not?
But you know, no, why should you be
doing if you can afford it every day, why not?
I don't think it's healthy for you to be doing deep tissue massage every day.
Well, you could do your toe massage. You could do anything you could do anything you want to do, except you want to throw some light on what you're talking about.
Okay, so now, like I said, these are married men. So we are talking side chicks. Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So side chicks. And then I'm beginning, you know, let me digress a bit. You know, in other parts of the world, I know some countries abroad where there are service where you can just go to somebody and just vent.
Yeah, sure.
And just talk. You know, and just talk, and the person is just there to listen to you, not to give you advice per se, because sometimes when you are venting, it's not like you need an advice. You just need someone to listen to you. Yeah. So you are talking to and the person is listening to you, and the person is encouraging and all that. Or there are other ones that, you know, the person just gives you a hug, or just, you know, calms you, gives you a massage, but you can also talk. Because if you are going to go to a massage parlor, you can't talk to the person. It's strictly massage. But this one, you can talk and all that. So it eases you. And of course, I'm not really happy ending. Sex. We all know that sex is a distressor. Yeah, you know. So you can't rule that away. So you do that, you get that, and you're calm. And you're smiling. And then you get home, and then how? Because let's not forget that whether you want to agree or not, there's this sense of responsibility. Yeah. Like, I'm going there again. When you get home, like, gas has finished. That especially these days, gas has finished. Oh, the card light has finished. Oh, the AC spoiled. Oh, you know. So your head is full. So if you are coming from work straight to the house with your own stress, and then you come home to me that gas has finished, and then you there's no how, you are not superhuman. You're like, leave me alone, what is it? Blah, 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 blah. But then if you have gone to distress somewhere, and then you are cool and calm, and then you're not coming home, oh, gas has finished. Oh, okay, let's you understand my argument.
Because you're distressed. Yes, I understand your argument. I understand your argument. And it is fine. It is fine. If it's for you, go for it. If it's for you, go for it. I told you how I like to distress. I like to keep it that way. So, you know, I like to keep it that way, but it's fine. Yes, I've got a couple of friends that distress that way too, and it works for them. And is it
working for them?
Yeah, loads of them is working for them. It is working for them. In fact, I've heard crazy arguments to talk about side chicks helping to maintain relationships.
The marriage, yes. You know, I was going to say that.
I'm not saying I totally agree with it or not, but I've heard arguments for and against.
Okay, so you don't agree?
I will say that a marriage works if two people decide to make it work. Bringing a third party into it right now is just an excuse for all sorts of things. You know, if you and I want it to work and we're married, well, we'll find a way to make it work. We shouldn't put our happiness and our complaints on a third party, because the third party wasn't there when we contracted that marriage in the first place.
But the third party is not the third party.
It's just a helper for the marriage.
Exactly.
It's helping one party in that marriage and not the other party.
By helping that one party is helping the whole party, the whole show.
Well,
I feel like by helping one party is helping the whole show, because like I mentioned, see what I mentioned earlier now. Like, okay, you go and destroy somewhere and then you now get to the house and then you're calm and all that. As against you coming straight and you're like, what is it? What is it? Everybody wants a piece of me. You're dragging me here. I'm just one person. Blah, blah, blah. And then the other person is feeling like, what have I said now that is out of the way? Now, don't carry your frustration on me. Me too, I've had my own stress all day. I've been at work or I've been taking care of the kids. Please. You know, let everybody. And then there's the banter. Nobody wants to. Sure. You understand what I'm trying to say, you know?
I do.
And if that happens on a regular, of course, we are humans now. It begins to break down, you know, a lot of things, and then
but if it's so good, and it's something that we would advise people to do, why not just bring in a third party and say, hey, this is what is making our marriage work. I thought you should know about it.
Okay, well, that is something that is also happening already.
Great. As long as that third party knows about this and they're comfortable with this.
That is also something that is happening already. Great. I was going to ask you that, do you believe in polyamorous relationships?
Wait, see, it's already happening. We know that,
right?
It's already happening yes. On the low. You know, it's there. It's happening on the low. So, like they say, there's nothing new under heaven. Even this polyamorous, even before Jesus' time, it has been so. It's been there for like forever.
Exactly. So,
it's been there for like forever.
You know.
I believe in it or not doesn't stop it from being in our faces.
From happening, yeah.
It is happening right under our noses. You know, people just hide it. That's all.
Yeah.
But if you're in a clique of friends,
I'm not sure they hide. They are just not
comfortable talking about it.
They're just not talking about it. It's not.
To
they're
you,
not necessary.
Because
yes.
you don't believe.
And you do. Yeah.
You believe you judge them.
You know? Exactly.
Yeah. So it is there. As long as there are open marriages. We know that, right?
In fact, there are lots of open marriages.
If it works for you,
and
and
exactly
you're,
like I said,
they
don't have to come and tell you that, oh, I'm in an open marriage. It's not your business, really. But there are lots of people that I even know that are in open marriages, and it's working for them.
As long as both partners agree to this and they know about this, then it's fine. It is fine. For me, that's the way I take it, right? If it's a marriage in the first instance, it's you and I. Right? If we're going outside the books to do something, you and I should consent to it to go outside the books to do this, right? If it will make us happy. So it is fine. It is fine.
So you don't think it threatens the institution of marriage? Because somebody was saying the other day that by year 2030, you know, you may not hear things like marriage, you know, already is happening, that like marriage is on the decline, that people are not, you know, holding on to like marriage, I want to marry, especially, in fact, the Gen Zs that we have now, a lot of them are like, I don't want to get married, and all that. So it's like the future of marriage is scary. Like, so somebody has said that by year 2030, we begin to have less marriages, and we just begin to have maybe contracts, maybe, okay, just have a kid for me. Okay, just have 2 kids for me. Okay, I like your physique, or I like your intelligence. I want my children, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just going to be stops like that. What do you think?
And I don't think it's something really bad, because the institution of marriage has been under attack for a very, very, very long time. And marriage is a contract, has always been a contract. You know, our fathers way back then, didn't actually that much believe in the concept of divorce. You know, they tell you that when you get married, you're in it for life and all that, all those kind of stories, right? The Gen Z and those before the Gen Zs, right? That's
not working for us now.
That's what I'm about to address.
Okay.
These days, we're not bound by those rigid rules anymore, right? Now the Gen Zs and others before them now believe that, hey, if it's not working for you, then opt out of it and try another one.
Exactly.
You know, and I subscribe to that school of thought also. Marriage is just a contract, and the same way you have an employment contract, right? And you decide to stick with this company. Tomorrow you find out that the visions and everything that comes doesn't align with what you currently do think.
Exactly.
You break that contract and move to somewhere else that values your input and everything.
You know, I'm sorry to cut you. I was telling this, I was telling some people about this, and I think I've said it in a couple of my videos. Like, you know, the most constant thing in life is change.
Yes.
And then I say that you as a man, what you wanted at 20 is probably not what you want at 30. It's not what you want at 40. Yes, it will not be what you want at 50 because people keep evolving.
Yes,
people keep changing, you know, and that's what I say about relationships. So if your partner is not changing with you or evolving or whatever, you may just wake up one day and be like, who is this person? What am I doing with this person?
Exactly.
And that's why I say that, you know, most women, because they say women is when they are this, but I'm like most women, when you hear of divorces and all that, it's usually women in their 40s. And I'm like, women in their 40s is when a woman has reached the age of 40 and then going forward. That's when you come to the realization of self. You know, that's when you begin to really know yourself and be like, okay, this is who I am. Okay, this is what I really want. This is what I don't want. And then they see who they are married to, and I'm like,
how did I get here?
How did I get here? Like, what is this and all that, you know? And then the man is not conforming. That's when the man will not think, what's happening here? You have started seeing men outside or something. No, it's just that you have now come into who you are fully, yes, of who you are. And then there's problem, you know, because you can't marry the two. And then that's why some men too, after a while, whether in their 40s or 50s, they feel like, oh, I need something, because when they now say, I suffered with this man, I started with him, I did this, now he say he wants somebody else, blah, blah, blah. That is the way life is, you know. People keep changing, people's priorities keep changing, yes, you know, and people's wants. And then because as human beings, our needs and wants are insatiable, you know. And then once you have something, that's is a basic human thing. Once you have something, you want another thing.
The next one.
You want the next high, especially for women. I don't know if it's the same for men, but women, we are continually seeking the next high. So when you say, oh, but I did this one, I've done this one, for men too. You know, but I want something new. And that's why they say that you cut your partner. You keep cutting your partner, you know. Don't just say, okay, because I'm married and she's there and all that. You just wake up one day and be like, she's not the same person. Like, what happened to you? You have changed and all that. Because you let she's changing, and then you're not changing with her, or you are not evolving, and you think, oh, she's still the person that you married, you know,
or you're both growing in different directions.
Yes, you know, at a point you now feel like, wow, this is not who I thought this person was. This is not aligning. My goals are not aligning and all that, you know. Somebody has also said that marriage is too, if it still does exist, it will be on a contract. Although it's on a contract now, but it will be on a 5 years, 3 years. I'm serious.
Like much more time-defined contract.
Yes, much more time-defined. Okay, 5 years. After 5 years, we will review if we still want to be together or no, just for, you know, that kind of thing. And I totally think it makes sense. Because I feel like there are lots of people who are in marriages and who feel trapped.
I totally understand what you're saying, but before these things, like how you made it sound right now, 3-year contract, 5-year contract, before this actually gets into the fabric of our society, will be a freaking long time. I'm not saying these things will not happen on the ground, right? People not do something on the ground, but before it becomes like a national thing where you can go to court to say, hey, we have a 5-year contract, marriage contract, it will take ages. You mentioned something that women are divorcing now in their early 40s and thereabouts.
They are from their 40s.
Well, if you check out from recent data, they haven't divorcing way less than 40. People are getting married and calling quits in 2 years?
Even 1 year. Especially with this generation that we have now. Yeah.
Is growing.
It is.
That trend is growing. Unlike before, where people would call them or shame them and say, hey, look at her. She's been married once, she's married twice.
Okay, so
no one cares anymore.
Exactly.
You know, society is growing, you know, people's perceptions about this kind of things, they're changing, you know. So yes, the next 10 years, the next 20 years, at least right now, this year, next year, Gen Zs are getting into the workplace, right? They're changing.
Gen Zs are already in the workplace.
Changing all sorts of things as we know it. You know, they're changing all sorts of things. Yes, all of it. They're changing all sorts of things. You know, so on the ground, yes, they could do all those kind of things.
But really, those things are already happening. There are some people now who say, "I'm fine being a baby mama."
Yes, sure.
Yeah, and there are some men who say, "I don't have any business getting married. I'm just going to have a couple of kids. I want 2 kids. Let me just have 2 kids. I'm not putting myself under that." There are already people practicing that.
Yes, there are people
practicing.
So
I don't think it should be I don't think it's going to be that far.
So have
And
to have the legal framework might take time. You know, we're a cultural society, right?
We tend. It's politics. Okay. It depends. If the people in politics now agree to, you know, relax a bit and allow the younger generation, like the Gen Zs, and excuse me, it's not going to take long.
Okay.
If the younger generation, the Gen Zs, the millennials, if they get into power and they get into decision making, they have to make decisions. They are going to be making these decisions.
The Senate and the House of Reps now, what's the average age of their members? They're still old people. That's what I'm saying. Before Gen Zs get into that level, it will be next 30, 40 years. Before they get into the Senate and the House of Reps, it will be next 30, 40 years. Yes, on the ground, these things will happen. Sure. Don't forget, right? You have. I don't know if prenups work here, but prenups work abroad, right?
Yeah, of course, prenup works abroad. I think with
a prenup, you could go ahead to do this. You know, you could say, good, this marriage is constructed for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
If we don't get to align on this, and that, we will get a divorce. And I guess there are ways to go around those kind of things. But yes, as long as two people decide and say, this is what we want. I don't want to get married. You don't want to get married. We want to have 2 kids. We'll take this for 2 years. We'll take turns sharing custody of these kids. We'll sponsor them 60-40. As long as they want it and they're fine with it, then it's nobody's business.
It's really nobody's business, but you know, people like to make other people's business. People's business.
They like to get into other people's business.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned earlier, perceptions are changing.
Yeah,
it will take some time. Yeah, perceptions are changing. Like I mentioned earlier that divorce was some talk that you don't have to talk way back then before.
Unheard of. They would rather die.
Even if your daughter is suffering in her husband's house, your son is being maltreated.
You take her back there. You are going to stay there, whether you die there or not.
But now they will tell you, bring my child to me if you're not interested anymore. So it's changing. It's changing.
But do you also believe in this? What would I call it now? Is it a ideology or something? Or I don't know if it's a fact. Well, it might be a fact that there are more women than men now, and that, you know, very soon it's okay for a man to marry 2, 3, 4 wives because you are helping the women.
Well,
so that they won't be lonely, or so that they won't be left destitute, so to say.
Well, I would say it is a fact, and previous census figures have confirmed that yes, there are more men, there are more women to men. You know, not just in Nigeria, but almost everywhere else in the world. Someone did, on a lighter note, someone did mention something to me the other day. He said, yes, there are more women to men, you know, more marriageable women than are men, right?
Yeah, that's another one.
And still,
every marriageable men. Is it not marriageable, but not wanting to marry?
Good. But then, every woman, you know, every woman is in a relationship. With who? Like there are 4 million men ready to get married. There are 20 million women wanting to get married, and all 20 million women are in a relationship with who? The 4 million men. So that answers your question already.
I think it's the men.
It does answer your question already.
It's the men we should be asking. It's the men we should be asking. Though, how many women is one average man having to himself? Which brings me to this next question, Seth. It just occurred to me. Is it possible for a man to be with one woman for life? Is it possible?
For a man to be with one woman for life? Let's ask the man.
That's what I'm asking you.
Yes, it's very possible. It is very possible. It is very possible. Yes, it is very possible. There are men that have been with just one woman all their lives. Yeah. It is possible.
Are you sure they are?
I've heard such stories also.
So you're telling me that it's possible for you to eat pounded yam for the rest of your life right now?
You can eat pounded yam with egusi soup. You can eat with ogbono soup. You can eat with okra soup. You can decide to eat yam.
So where are you getting that ogbono, okra?
You mentioned pounded yam now.
Exactly. Exactly. So how are you eating that ogbono? Because really, I don't know. From my standpoint, I'm a woman, you know, and then I know that, you know, people will but really, I don't think you can be with one man for life. satisfactorily. You can't be with Mama Falana. Of course, there are lots of
you answered the question
satisfactorily. Exactly. There are lots of women who are in relationships or marriages, and they are just there and they've been with just one person and they are just there, It doesn't mean that they are fulfilled. It doesn't mean that they are having fulfilling relationships or even fulfilling sexual experiences. True. But they are just there.
But it also doesn't mean otherwise. They could be.
I doubt it.
No, you doubt it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have to be. Mm-hmm. The fact is that yes, if you look at data, you look at the society, you look at the numbers, it looks a bit plausible. You probably doubt that. Hey, this you can't even validate this fact. Mm-hmm. But yes, there are exceptions to the rule. There are exceptions to the rule.
Very few exceptions. So we are living by exceptions now. No, we are living by exceptions, not the general rule now.
There are. At least my pastor wants me to believe that he's with one woman for the rest of his life.
That's not going to.
Your pastor wants me to believe that also.
I don't have pastor.
So it is what it is.
Let's not go into that one though, because that was just
trying to answer your question. Just trying to answer your question.
Okay, so what advice? Let's bring this to a final note. What advice would you give someone to live stress-free in this Lagos, if it's possible?
I don't know where that question is coming from. Is it even possible to live stress-free in Lagos? Is it possible from when you leave your house in the morning to the hustle and bustle of the bus stop to traffic. To maniac drivers on the road,
I'm telling you,
to all sorts of things.
And then you have not even got to the workplace.
2 hours, you haven't gotten to the workplace. I'm in the car for 5 hours every day to and fro work. Every freaking day.
That's a lot.
Every freaking day. And someone will come and scratch your car here and expect you not to shout.
Exactly.
All sorts of things. What do you do? I just look for ways to distress. That's all. If you're in Lagos for 1 year, you'll understand the whole stress and you find ways to calm yourself down because it will never change. Yeah, it's better. Compared to what it used to be right now, it's better. Ocean is better these days.
Some roads are better.
You go to the island, Lagos Island, get 1 or 2 things. I went to the island one day.
That island, I only like to go to the island on Sundays.
It was
because
crazy.
That's when the traffic is very light.
I drove in, I think it was from, I can't remember the street, but I couldn't even get what I wanted to get. Before I could turn around to find the express back, it was 1 hour because the human traffic was crazy. It was crazy. So just find what makes you happy in Lagos. Find what distresses you. If you can afford to go to a massage parlor every day, go. If you can afford to distress as you have recommended, well, go. They're all not cheap.
They're all not cheap. There's not that cheap.
So whatever it is that rocks your boat.
Exactly, yeah. Whatever works for you. But it is important for one to distress in Lagos. If not, because each day now you keep hearing cases of high BP, or this person slummed or whatever. So I think it's everybody's responsibility. It's your responsibility to yourself, to
distress healthily. Healthily.
I don't know which one is on.
Distress. Make sure it's healthy. Whatever it is you want to do, make sure it's healthy.
As long as it's distressing.
Make sure you're not hurting anybody.
That was key. Don't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
I concur to that, but I don't know about healthily because you're distressing you, so that's health. You're trying to keep your health.
The day Lagos becomes different. Living in Lagos becomes really, really cool and easy. I don't know how Lagosians will take it.
I think some people will leave.
Because you don't be Lagos anymore, right?
Because I think people actually thrive on that stress.
Yes,
I'm telling you.
Yes, they
everybody is in a hurry to go nowhere. Like, you just be wondering, okay, wait, especially in traffic, you just see people, just view beside the view. And then at the end of the day, when you now get to the front, you now see that the person is not even very far ahead of you. Maybe just, just 1 car or 2 cars. Okay, so where were you running to?
Let me tell you a story.
Where?
There was someone told me about this guy who just wakes up from his house. He doesn't have a job, right? He wakes up from his house, puts on a suit and a tie, goes to a sports bed parlor to play games. And this guy was hurrying to get a bus, was jumping from bus to bus to get...
Just to go and play game.
Just because he just wants to go and sit down there and play game. For
Can you
what?
imagine? I think there's something about
Some
Lagos.
hurry to the vendors to go and read free newspapers.
I'm telling you.
For what? You know, you get there anytime, papers are there, right?
They're there.
Because it's Lagos, you're used to it.
Exactly.
You're
And
used to
there's
it.
something, maybe there's something in the air that you just... It's true. I just thought about that. That can be a conspiracy theory. Maybe there's something in the air in Lagos that, you know, once you just reach Otedela region, we are just welcome to Lagos. You just breathe in that air.
Just ready.
Automated, yes. You just start running. Okay, so before we go, let me not forget this. So, as you have enlightened me and encouraged me to this lottery thing, if I were to, you know, if I wanted to start today or what's the process?
It's very easy. You need to be above 18 to play. By virtue of our laws, you need to be above 18 to play. So all you have to do is identify which of the operators you want to play or what kind of games of chance interest you, right?
Okay, there are different types.
Yeah, there are different types. There are jackpot types. I'm sure you've heard about the Mega Millions in the US, where jackpots go as much as 1 billion sometimes in dollars.
Jackpot. Is that not casino type?
That's different.
Oh, really?
This is Mega Millions, Euro Millions, and all that. Jackpots grow large out there, hundreds of millions of dollars sometimes.
Wow.
And people get to win that. There are a couple of those ones around here in Nigeria too. But the most popular ones, lottery in Nigeria, is what is called 590. That's they draw 5 winning balls from the pool of 90 numbers. That's the popular ones that you know actually play. There are a couple of other ones that, for example, my company, what we play is it's called Big Shot Lottery, short. Okay. It's where up to 50 people win 100,000 per day on just a 200 naira ticket. So there are several variants of those ones. So you identify what you want to play, go onto the site, hop onto the site.
So that means you cannot win anything higher than, when you say 220, did you say 200 people win 100,000?
No, up to 50 people. For Big Shot Lottery, up to 50 people win 100,000 naira per day. Up to 50 people.
Up to 50, okay.
And the ticket price
each.
Yes, each. And ticket price is just 200 naira to enter
win
into that
100,000.
Yes.
Oh no.
Go on to the site. Lots of people have won, and they keep winning every day on that site. If you're interested in the other one, also hop onto their site, like the Baba Chebu, like the other ones there.
No, that was.
Hop onto their site, and you could play also.
There's actually a site called Baba Chebu. I
yes,
thought it's just roadside ones that are Baba Chebu.
Yes, they are, but they are also online.
Wow.
So you could decide to do that in the confines of your office, your room. All of them, yes. Most of them are online.
I think myself and my video...
Try Big Shot. You like it.
My DOP. We are going to try it.
Try Big Shot. You like it.
Big Shot.
Yes,
okay.
for as little as 200 naira.
Just go on the website.
Yes. To take you, a minute or so to register. Just put in your name, your phone number, email. That's all.
They will ask for my bank details.
No. Your bank details, you would put your bank details on when you win. If you're about to cash out. So you'd say, oh, I want the money transferred to this account. That's all.
That's all.
So no one's asking you for your VVN.
No.
Hanky. Of course not.
Interesting.
Of course not.
Everybody's looking for streams of
income.
It's
one of the best.
I think it's something we try.
Play responsibly, though.
Okay, of course.
Play responsibly. Because we encourage responsible gaming. Everything could be addictive. I've got friends who are addicted to paracetamol, so everything could be addictive. But as I mentioned earlier, there are checks put in place on the website to ensure that you don't go above certain limits, to encourage responsible gambling or gaming rather.
Okay, thank you so much. It's been an interesting conversation.
Thank you so much.
I hope that when we call you next time, you oblige us.
I'll come running.
Thank you, guys. So I hope you have enjoyed the conversation like we have as well. So why don't you click the like button and also subscribe so you get notifications for when I come out with interesting videos like this, and also share this video to your friends and follow us on all our social media handles at the Eagle Online. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Click the like.
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 Bye.
All right. Bye.